Recently, I had a question about how to do something, and one of my suggestions was to use fuse welding. Now, there are examples of fuse welding scattered throughout my videos, but I have never done a video specifically about fuse welding, and most specifically, why I use fuse welding and when I use fuse welding. This is RG45, and I'm fusing these pieces of 3/32 inch rod together. RG45 is a mild steel rod with a thin copper sheath. Fuse welding is basically melting two pieces of like metal together. .332 is relatively thin rod, so I have to get on, heat it up, and get off. A little practice and this becomes fairly easy. When you see sparks, that means I've gone just a little too far with the heat. But that's almost unavoidable with this thin of rod. Oops, got that one a little too hot, but I can still fuse it back together. This is what the person who asked the question wanted to do, or at least, I think this is what they had in mind. Again, bring both ends together till they flow one into the other. This is 1/16 inch RG45, thinner than the 3/32. This takes a light touch. You can also fuse other metals. When a brazing rod gets too short for comfort, I fuse it onto a longer piece of brazing rod. Here, fusing an 8-gauge copper wire onto another piece of 8-gauge copper wire. You can see how I'm going back and forth with the flame to get both ends so that they melt evenly. Here are the fused brazing rod and the copper wire once they have been cleaned up. Two 3/32 RG45 circles. There is just too much gap here to get them to flow together. I can fill in with a piece of 1/16 inch RG45 steel filler rod. These are some kayaks I'm doing. The ends of the kayaks have all been fuse welded. Next step is to braze over the bow and stern for this added effect. This is a small high-wheel bicycle, brazing the fork to the wheel. I definitely want to braze this because I want the gold color here. Fuse welding the frame to the upper fork. This is a close-up. Then fuse welding the handlebar to the top of the fork. Brazing on this doodad on the handlebar. Again, I want the gold color of the brazing. If I had brazed the handlebar to the fork, then when I brazed on the doodad, the braze for the handlebar would melt off. Sometimes it takes planning to figure out what to fuse weld and what to braze. Fuse welding is a good technique to have in your skill collection.